Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the week that was. I am Austin the Stash, and joining me as she does every week, the one and only Melanie Wilkinson.
Hello, Mr. Stash.
Hello, Melanie. How are you today?
I'm good.
Good.
Like we were saying, it's a heat wave.
Oh my gosh, balmy weather at this point.
But I watching the stuff down south. It's incredible.
Listen, there is a smugness that I carry because I have lots of friends from Florida.
Sure you do.
And they're like, it's awful. Like, I saw snow and I'm cold. People don't know how to drive, and I'm like, yeah, man, this is what I have to deal with every year.
Yeah, and I saw where they, I think it's in Louisiana, I don't know what city it was. Maybe it was New Orleans. I don't know. Anyway, they contracted with a company in Indiana and brought down 16 whole snowplows.
Oh my gosh.
Only 16.
Wow.
It's like, but they think that's
They think that's...
Well, they don't have any.
They don't got any. Yeah, that's way more than they got.
That's a lot more than they had before. So
also, for how much snow? Like...
Well, they got 10 inches.
Did it get 10 inches? Whoa.
8 to 10.
I thought that was. I saw the Jacksonville.
I think they
airport.
got 6.
I got like 3 to 6 or something like that.
Yeah.
So all right, fair enough.
Okay.
Fair enough. New Orleans.
Back to York County.
Back to York County, of course, where there is no snow.
No,
thankfully. Absolutely. All righty. So lots going on in York County.
We've had a lot of things happening this week.
Yeah. Let's start off with the Chamber Awards.
Okay, the Chamber Awards. Every year, the Chamber gives out awards to businesses and individuals for long-term service, all different kinds of categories. So I thought we'd just talk about who all the winners were.
And this year they did something a little different. They kind of opened it up to the public to come and
they
that
did,
sort
and they
of way.
had like more entertainment, trivia stuff after that, and it was on a Friday night instead of a Monday.
Right. Yeah.
That makes a big difference.
Definitely.
People have a tendency to stick around and party a little bit more when it's on a Friday. So they had a really, really good crowd this year.
Good.
So anyway, let's get to the awards.
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, this one's kind of near and dear to my heart. It's the Hub Foster Lifetime Achievement Award.
Okay.
You don't know who Hub Foster was?
No idea.
I do.
Okay.
Can I tell you a little story about Hub?
Absolutely.
Hub was an institution in York for many years in a lot of ways, but he was at the York News Times for decades.
Okay.
Even when he was well into his 90s, he was still coming to work every day, running the fun club at that point. He went to get our mail from the post office every single day, even when it was icy. We'd all beg him, please don't go.
Don't do
and
this.
He'd still sneak out of the building.
Incredible.
Yes, he was an amazing man. Hub and I had a really nice relationship. He was a little friendly with the ladies. So you get a kiss on the lips by the copier every once in a while when you didn't expect it, but we just got used to it.
Sure.
It was okay.
It wasn't
fine.
malice. It wasn't. No.
It wasn't even sexual harassment.
No,
it was
wasn't.
just Hub saying hi.
Hey, how's it going?
And it was kind of gross, but it was okay. Anyway, long story short, Hub Foster was an amazing man.
Yes.
And so after he passed away, they created this Lifetime Achievement Award to recognize people who have done something of service in the community for decades. So this year, that award went to Tom McKinney. He apparently, it was 1984 when he started working as the main provider of anesthesia for York General.
Whoa.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah,
I was
51 years?
Well,
Is that how does that how that math work out? 41.
40. I was going to say.
It's close.
Jeez, that's a long time. Was it? Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah, 41 years.
So very, very well deserved. And then another award is the Outstanding Small Business Award. This year it went to La Cocina Mexican restaurant.
Yes. One of my favorites.
I know. And I think that was really neat too, considering, that's a very strong business, family owned.
Yeah.
They've been around for a little bit, but not super long.
Yeah.
We're not talking decades, but that's kind of what the point is of that award, is that you have started your own small business and it's grown over time and it stays strong in the community. Woman-owned business award.
Okay.
This year it went to Canine Kennels. Oh. So Monica Postier owns, that's just right down the road down here.
Okay.
Personally, I love Canine. I rely on canine doggy daycare. Greatest thing ever invented. Who knew? Because when I can't take it another second and I have things to do, you just take them down to canine and they watch them for the day.
And they have a blast.
They have a blast, but that one's pretty cool too.
Nice.
Okay, so this one is called the Mark Moore Entrepreneurial Spirit Award.
Okay.
This is given by York University.
Okay.
So this is given what it says, entrepreneurial spirit. This year, the award went to Jill Euchert. Now, she is the coordinator of the Art Garden.
Okay.
What it is, it works in a partnership with other agencies to serve autistic individuals.
Oh, okay.
So this one is a really neat one because it's something that a lot of people I don't think realize that we have in our community. So that's a service provider that, but she created it on her own, and so that's a
really
so that's a neat thing.
Yeah.
Okay, now the hometown hero.
All right.
Unsung hero is what they call it. It's somebody that works all the time tirelessly. Maybe not everybody knows what they do because they're just kind of behind the scenes or on the front lines. This year is really neat too because it went to a woman named Laverna Smith.
Okay.
And now Laverna's worked at the Mission here in town for many years. Mm-hmm. And the Mission was an offshoot of the Columbus Mission for many years. Mm-hmm. Last year, they kind of parted. Well, they didn't kind of. They parted ways.
Yeah.
And so she was not going to be paid, but she was so dedicated to what the mission does that she kept working for weeks without pay. Whoa. And until a local group came in and took over the mission. And now it's the Hope Gospel Mission. It's run locally now, and she's obviously there, but she's very dedicated to it. And she also works in programs at the prison, helping women as they get ready to integrate back into society. So,
wow. Sounds like an incredible human being. Well deserved.
Very much so. And I think she seemed, I don't know her very well, but when watching her get the award, I think she was a little shell shocked.
Sure.
Like, really? It's just me.
Yeah. I'm just doing what I do.
I just do what I do, and I believe in it. And so that was a really neat one.
Nice.
And the Community Service Award this year. Mm-hmm. This one is it's both sad and it's inspiring. That award went to the Soaring for Sea entity. Mm-hmm. This was founded by Misty Bruliette in honor of her daughter Cessna, who committed suicide. And Misty took a tragedy and she turned it into a program, to help combat suicide, but particularly teenage suicide. Yeah. She goes around and she does speaking engagements at high schools. Mm-hmm. They've done so much as far as like raising funds, and then they promoted this, this pay it forward effort, and it's a really. I have a whole story about what they've all done since this was created, but that one, and it seems like I don't know if we're paying more attention to it, or if we've seen a big surge in kids. Mm-hmm. Being lost, in that and those tragedies happening. Yeah. But boy, they're doing everything they can to fight against it. So that one, very, very, they were all very deserved this year. Well, they always are. Yeah. But I just felt like this year was a little bit more special than usual.
Yeah. Well, that's fantastic.
There we go.
Very nice. Some great chamber awards. Yeah. And of course, you can catch the story.
Yeah, all the details on all of them are on the website.
There you go. JustMelanieW.com.
Yes.
All right. Fantastic. Now, you told me about this next story last week.
I did.
And I'm so excited to hear about it.
Okay. So this is rare, and it's, once in a lifetime. Mm-hmm. I mean, all right. So, to preface, this being the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II, Governor Jim Pillen created an initiative to recognize the World War II veterans that are still with us. Mm-hmm. I was not aware until last week that we have 2 living World War II veterans in York County.
Wow.
And Nick Wollenberg, he's our county veteran service officer. He was tasked with seeing, because he would know who we have that are still here alive. Well, yeah, he found 2.
Wow.
And it was so special because the governor's office provided medals of honor. Both men were completely surprised.
Yeah.
Completely bamboozled. One was at coffee at his regular time at 4:00.
Nice.
At the kitchen. And the other one thought he was coming into the Veteran Service Office to complain about not getting his mileage check to go to the VA.
Nice.
For hearing aids or something.
Sure.
And so he came in in his, okay, so who were they? All right, so the one I'm talking about right now is Wilfred Mettinger. Okay. So he's the one that came into the Veteran Service Office wanting to talk to Nick about some issue.
Hey, we've got an issue
and you're going to
here.
fix this.
Yeah, that's
well,
right.
but then he couldn't figure out why he was seeing some of his family members going into the commissioner's meeting room, and he said, somebody's lying to me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so anyhow, so he was just absolutely, shocked.
Yeah.
And he couldn't understand what in the heck he was doing there. And then when Nick read to him, we are here to honor you. It's because of your service that we have freedom, and you changed the course of history. And when he said that to both individuals, it struck all of us that were in attendance because, yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Okay, so Wilfred, he is going to turn 99 in 1 month.
Wow.
Still lives on his own. Matter of fact, he was still flying his own airplane at the age of 91.
Whoa, okay, all right.
Until they took away the keys and made him sell the plane. And he was joking still to this day about how they took the guy that came to get his plane didn't know how to fly it because I guess it was a vintage airplane.
Uh-huh.
And how the wings, apparently when the pilot took off, he waved goodbye. Well, he wasn't waving goodbye. He was trying to figure out how to fly the thing.
He's going, what the heck is happening?
I tell you what, and Wilfred, he has got stories, and he's such a character. And he was talking about how they were in dry dock, getting ready to physically, like, men going on to physically invade Japan. And that's what they were doing. And so that night they were watching a movie. He remembers it was Casablanca.
Incredible.
They were halfway through the movie, and he said, and the radio guy came in and said, well, we got a new bomb. The war is over. That's all he said. And he goes, none of us watched the end of that movie. And he goes, and all these years later, still haven't watched it. I don't know how it ends. 80 years and I still don't know how that movie ends.
Oh my gosh.
I know. He goes, but I guess I didn't care then and I don't care now. Wonderful, wonderful man. And he was so surprised that there's only 2 of them alive.
Yeah.
And his family had to remind him, well, you are 99 years old, Well, there's all these old guys lined up over against the wall at the senior center.
Yeah.
And they're like, they're 80.
Those are young guys.
He goes, they're young pups. They look older than me. Oh, he was wonderful. So then after that, we ventured over to the kitchen where Arthur Fredrickson was having coffee.
Very nice.
And then he thought it was kind of odd too. He's 100. Still, both of them still are living, in their homes.
Wow.
And he kind of thought it was strange that some of his family members were there to have coffee with him. And it's usually him and his daughter, I think, is how that works every day, like clockwork.
That's awesome.
So he was really taken aback when Nick was giving him the Medal of Honor. He just kind of stared at it a lot. And he said, he remembers things. He had a tougher time. It looks like at work. It was his 18th birthday when he was sent to the front lines.
Oh my gosh!
In Europe, and they kept him in the frontline combat situation for 6 months. And apparently at that time, they would only put you in that terrible situation for 2 weeks at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow he ended up just
living in it.
He was in it for 6 months. And so then after that, he went into service. He was still in the service, but they pulled him off the lines. And he was in Italy. And he was in Rome at the end of the war. And one of his greatest memories is that he got to meet Pope Pius.
Really?
Yeah, the Pope met with some of the combat soldiers, American soldiers, to say thank you at the end of the war. And he was one of them that got to be in a private meeting with him. And here he is 100 years old, and he still remembers all of that.
Wow.
So it was a really special day.
It sounds like
it really was. So they are the two remaining left. I don't know how many there are in Nebraska, but I think the fact that we have two
says a lot.
Quite something.
Yeah.
Because
sure.
I remember the slum feed years ago. On Veterans Day, it wasn't that long ago that we had a lot, and then over the years they've just grown older, and
sure.
So
time continues to pass on.
Very special.
Very special. Very, very cool.
Glad I was there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's incredible moment.
It was really neat.
Very cool. All right, so we got one more story.
Oh, yes.
And
this one's fun.
This one's fun. So there's a guidebook for foodies?
There is.
Okay,
there
hit me
is
with
now.
it.
Okay. So Ashley Kaltenbach, she's from York. She likes to eat.
Don't we all? I mean, come on now.
She's an adventurous eater.
Okay.
So
are we talking bizarre foods kind of stuff?
Not really. More culturally experimental for her.
Gotcha.
So her and her significant other, they like to go places and try different things. Well, so they had to make homemade Christmas presents this year for her family. And she didn't want to knit something. And she's like, I don't know. I'm not that crafty.
Yeah.
And she thought, well, wait a minute. Why don't I make a list of places to eat and things to do and things that I already know? Well, what happened with that is it got bigger and bigger. She went online, started asking for reviews from the public on different restaurants in Nebraska that serve different
cuisines
cultures.
And
yes. So that grew into more research and then trying more and the places that they've already gone. And she realized that she had a book.
Wow.
So,
nice.
yes, so this is how you can explore the world without leaving Nebraska. So she created this book. It's in print now. She's selling books. She was at a craft fair last weekend with it. I've got a copy. It's great.
Yeah.
And so she gives you German, Polish, Japanese, Indian, South African.
Yeah.
I didn't realize we had this many
different types.
And what she really likes and what she focused on was private owned, typically family owned, because they know how to make the food where they came from.
Absolutely.
And they are smaller, and she likes the idea of supporting small family private owned restaurants that sometimes struggle, but some of these places, she's like, they're just like these wonderful secrets. So anyway, she provides locations, what they offer, hours of business,
nice,
other things you can do in the vicinity of where they are. So if you want to go out on a date or something like that, hey, also within walking distance is this. But she's all over the state. It's all over the state of Nebraska. So I have information on my site of how you can get your hands on one.
Very good.
How you can get a hold of her. But also it's fun anytime we have a local that does a book. It's a neat thing. And if, we're not in Christmas season, but it really is a Christmas present for anybody.
Yeah.
Pick one up now, put it in the closet and give it away. Cause it's a Nebraska product.
Absolutely. Sounds perfect.
Promoting Nebraska products.
I hope that in it there is an Indian restaurant that is in a gas station in Overton.
I know what you're talking about. I do know what you're talking about. I don't know if it's in there.
Well, if she ever makes a second volume,
that one's pretty famous and very. It's kind of wild that.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's in there. I've gone through the book, but I haven't.
You didn't dissect it.
No,
or
and I've never had Indian food, so I guess I never. Never have.
You're missing out.
I know.
Love it. It's one of my favorite cuisines.
Okay,
very spicy. Be prepared.
That's what I hear. But I've never had it. But gosh, if you want to see.
If you want to find out where to find it in
and you
Nebraska,
have a night off and you want to go try something different, you look it up in there and go.
I got to find this book. My wife and I will absolutely, pun intended, eat this up.
Good one. Eat it up.
Absolutely. All right, Melanie, thanks for coming in. That has been the week that was. Find all of these stories on justmelaniew.com.
Yes, sir.
We'll be back next week.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.